one more Trump moment I need to play for you in this show, which is him looking at JD. Do you remember? I meant to say this. We covered this segment where Vance was asked what he does as vice president. And the interviewer, Miranda Devine. That Miranda Devine. Wow. That Miranda Devine was the one that had the interview moment with Lutnick where he dropped this banger. It's
gross. Oh, the deep nuance of Howard Lutnick.
This guy's over there sleeping. He's over there sleeping on the job. Okay, I'm sorry. So that random one asked Vance, what do you do as vice president? And Vance was like, oh my gosh, I wish I could sleep until noon and then hit the bottle like Kamala Harris. She did nothing. So what did I do? Well, having a president like Trump really makes it to where you do so much and you do so many things and you work in so many different ways on so many projects and so many dimensions, and the characteristics of those dimensions is really what's fulfilling about the position. And that's just really great. And I was like, wait, what? So what do you do? And one of the things I was going to say when we covered that was, I feel like Vance is just that friend who kind of follows around the group of friends, and someone makes a joke and he's like, totally, yeah, inside jokes. We all have them now, huh? And just inserts himself into Trump administration stuff and then sees himself as very involved, even when he's not like being tasked with leading anything, which is fine. I mean, that's what the vice president is often doing. And then Trump makes fun of him for that, and it was kind of awkward.
I put a 100% tariff on China. As soon as I heard it, within 20 minutes, I put a 100% tariff on China. When President Xi, who's really a friend of mine, as much as he can be a friend, he's a tough man. He's a tough man. Smart man, actually. Very smart. The press doesn't like it when I call him very smart. They think I'm not supposed to call him smart. But at least 1.4 billion people, without question. In fact, during the meeting, we were there. A couple of you were there, and some of you saw it. So he's here, and he's got about 6 people on each side. And every one of those people was standing like this. They were at attention. And I made a comment to one of them, and I got no response. I said, are you going to answer me? I got no response. And President Xi didn't let him have any. So if there's any question, I said, I want my cabinet to behave like that. I'm demanding that I want them sitting up like that, Tim, just nice and straight. I never saw posture like that. I've never seen men so scared in their lives. They have the equivalent of a vice president. I said, are you going to answer my question? And he's like, he doesn't move. I said, what's wrong with this guy? I will answer all questions. Why don't you behave like that? JD doesn't behave like that. JD butts into conversations. I want to have that for at least a couple of days, okay, JD? We'll keep you long term, but a couple of days of that would be very, very nice.
I get that it's all silly time, but something was so awkward about that. And then it was exactly what I pictured with him. JD always butts in. Butts in? And that, of course. Again, have you ever been having a conversation with one person? You're like, I mean, she is just out of control. I know. And then someone comes up behind you and they're like, who? Sarah, isn't she? You're like, okay, I don't think you were supposed to hear that. And that's JD, except with matters of global consequence. Like the whole Zelensky thing. He's just sitting on the couch and all of a sudden he's like, Tammy, thank you. Sorry. Tammy, thank you. Once. I just pictured the video of JD saying that. Now, this is an obsession of Trump's. The whole Xi Jinping's leaders stand at attention, don't question him, don't speak. I want my cabinet to act like that. That obsession with loyalty. And it's not just his cabinet who has more of a reason to be loyal to him, but generals. You might remember when Trump's former chief of staff said Trump would always talk about how he wanted generals like Hitler had.
Now, let's listen.
So yesterday we learned that Donald Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, a retired 4-star general, confirmed that while Donald Trump was president, he said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had. Donald Trump said that because...
Total side note, it always cracks me up when people specify which Hitler we're talking about. Like, because I always say Hitler, but it cracks me up when people are like, and he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler. Not a different Hitler, Adolf.
He does not want a military that is loyal to the United States Constitution. He wants a military that is loyal to him. He wants a military who will be loyal to him personally.
Now, that was during the campaign, and people went on to say, I saw just recently a debate, they were like, Kamala called Trump Hitler. And then the person that was debating said, no, she didn't. And then they said, yeah, she said that Trump wanted generals like Hitler or something. Wait, but that's what he said. That's not her fault. That's what Trump said to his former general, or he is a former general, and he was Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, who Trump, when he was picking him, said was so respected, so trustworthy. And then he's the one who gave us that anecdote. That's not calling Trump Hitler. It's just Trump has a weird Hitler fixation. And that's come up in multiple different places from multiple different sources, like the Hitler speeches on his bedside table, anecdote from his ex-wife, his belief that, hey, I get there was like some downsides, but he did some good stuff, was also one of the quotes. He did some good things. And remember that during the campaign, one candidate had to come out and denounce that the other candidate was having words of admiration for Hitler. And the candidate who did the words of affirmation was the one who won. So I just don't know if you're familiar that that's how that went. And this is a fixation of his. So that's where that comes from, kind of embarrassing JD a little bit. But because he brought up Xi Jinping, I did want to update you on this. Do you remember when Scott Bessent told us that Trump's handling of the China trade war was goading China and the art of the deal?
And all this was, again, this was driven by the president's strategy. He and I had a long talk on Sunday, and this was his strategy all along. And that, you might even say that he goaded China into a bad position. They responded. They have shown themselves to the world to be the bad actors. And we are willing to cooperate with our allies and with our trading partners who did not retaliate. It wasn't a hard message. Don't retaliate. Things will turn out well.
Yeah, that I see that Bessent face in my sleep sometimes. You might even say he go to China. So that was the argument they wanted us to believe, right? That all of Trump's tariff chaos was an advanced 4D chess move to isolate China, which I'd be fine with. China! In a sense. Wow, that one kind of was piercing. There are some ways we need to isolate them. Some ways we should reconfigure our geopolitical situation to handle them better. But that Trump was using his tools, well, he has one, tariffs, his tool, to reconfigure global trade in a way that was advantageous to us. And the way that Scott explained it there was that they goaded China into proving themselves to be an adversary to their other trading partners, I guess, and that would cause people to strengthen their relationship with us and weaken it with China. That's kind of like the undertone of what they're saying there. Because otherwise, what would the victory be if China strengthens trade relationships with a bunch of countries, including our allies, we weaken it, and then we come out economically worse? All the while, we're supposed to be trusting your plan while we're paying more because of the tariffs. Well, it's, as you might have been able to expect, no art of the deal. It's a failure. Trump's trade war with China is backfiring spectacularly. Analysis shows that the rest of the world is buying more from China than ever. So we have cut down our purchasing from China because of these huge tariffs. Trump then, I already explained the kind of failure of his summit and how it did pull off tensions a little bit, but that it was not even pulling back the situation to where it was before Trump started all this with the trade war. And so that summit wasn't the success that Trump wanted us to believe that it was. But then zooming out, we're learning this. The rest of the world is making up the difference, buying more from China than ever. China has offset the decline from America with breathtaking speed. And you can see European Union, Thailand, Vietnam, Hong Kong, Taiwan, UAE, Congo, India, Australia, Singapore, Liberia, UK, Japan, Mr. Japan. We were supposed to be doing everything. So they're making up for the losses from us buying from them by strengthening trade relationships with our allies. And it's backfiring. And it's supposed to all be a master plan to boost U.S. manufacturing. Remember that in 2024, you had articles like this: factory construction spending booms under Biden. U.S. manufacturing construction spending over time, you can see it booming. Do you remember one of the pieces of legislation that contributed to that? Yes, and Science Act. You remember that list? And then now we're seeing it decline under Trump. Manufacturing investment is falling. Manufacturing construction spending, you can see here, same metric. It's all falling on its face. But rest assured, the sandwich guy will be held accountable for his crimes. You remember this in D.C. right when the National Guard was deployed?
Motherfucker!
Oh. So he threw a sandwich at a law enforcement individual of some sort, which is horrible. Don't throw sandwiches at law enforcement. And after that, Janine Pirro told us that this man would see justice.
So President Trump has vowed to make D.C. safe and beautiful again. And as part of his effort to fight crime, he's bringing in our federal law enforcement partners like FBI, ATF, DEA, or Park Police, everybody to help the Metropolitan PD fight crime. And the president's message to the criminals was, if you spit, we hit. Well, we didn't quite do that the other night when an individual went up to one of the federal law enforcement officers and started jumping up and down, screaming at him, berating him, yelling at him. And then he took a Subway sandwich about this big and took it and threw it at the officer. He thought it was funny. Well, he doesn't think it's funny today because we charged him with a felony, assault on a police officer. And we're going to back the police to the hilt. So there, stick your Subway sandwich somewhere else. So
stick your Subway sandwich somewhere else, Janine. Well, you then have this as we keep up with the trial of the sandwich man. Molly Roberts says the officer sandwich guy charged with assaulting testifies that he could feel the impact of the sandwich through his ballistic vest and it exploded all over my uniform. He says he could smell the onions and the mustard. It sounds like he's saying, I could smell the ammunition whizzing by my face. DC sandwich guy goes on trial, says prosecution is half-baked. Do you get it? A grand jury declined to indict Sean C. Dunn for hurling a sub at a federal officer. Prosecutors then filed a downgraded charge. The grand jury was like, what? What are we doing? Is this as serious as they're making it out? Now, Ron Filipkowski responded to that reporting about the officer saying he could feel the ballistic vest slammed with a powerful sandwich. And Ron Filipkowski said, this reminds me of Rudy Giuliani describing the guy who patted him on the back once at ShopRite years ago as a brutal attack that felt like he had been shot. And it reminded me of one of the most iconic moments in American politics where Giuliani didn't realize there was going to be a security camera and told a story of how he was brutally assaulted in a ShopRite. And then the video comes out, and here's him describing it versus the video.
About a third of the way through, I got hit on the back as if a boulder hit me. It knocked me forward a step or two. It didn't knock me down, but it hurt tremendously.
Someone patted him on the back. It's brutal. It's a miracle, really, he survived that event. It really is a miracle.